The desire to date a younger woman is something that appeals to all men, especially as they grow older. Whilst nothing's wrong with dating a woman your age or even slightly older, it just seems more fun dating someone younger. However, many older men choose to not date or even attempt to date younger women. In fact, many consider themselves rejected before it even happens. What many of you are missing is the fact that women naturally choose and gravitate toward older men. Today we find out exactly what signs many older men miss when it comes to younger women, and we'll look at why women actually want to date older men. Why women date older men. It's not uncommon to look at many relationships and find an age gap between two people. In most cases, this age gap is on the woman's side, being either slightly younger or a few years younger than the guy. In fact, the ongoing myth is that women always choose older men, and you might have heard this growing up through high school and college. You often find that the woman you like wants to date someone senior, often leading to the question of why women choose older men. Well, the answer to this question is rather simple, and is predominantly based on power and influence. You see, older men are generally more established, which means they don't have to spend their time fighting to compete with the rest of the world. Since these men are somewhat more established due to their age, it's much easier for a woman to slot into such a relationship. You see, when she dates an older man, she must help him build something that will create success and comfort for the rest of their life. However, all these things should already be in place when you reach a certain age. Unfortunately, the trade-off for success is often a little daunting, and it's generally that our health and looks slowly fade. Not only is this a part of working harder, but it's just a natural progression of life. Since men now look at themselves in the mirror, they tend to devalue themselves based solely on how they look. However, women are less guided by looks and more in need of stability and a good platform to set up a decent life. Secondly, there's the issue of maturity. You see, younger men have different focus points and priorities than their older counterparts. In fact, many of them choose to live or attempt to live the fun playboy lifestyle, and women grow tired of this rather quickly. Older men, with more life experience, tend to make better decisions, especially when it comes to the future of themselves and their families. A study done many years back even created a myth, suggesting that women are naturally about 2 years more mature than men of a similar age. While this is true in many situations, it's not definitive, and this is why it will remain a simple myth. However, it's generally older men who find themselves in better positions to set up a family with their partners and create a good life. This is why women find them attractive. One general problem is noticing the subtle signs a woman gives off when she likes you. Well, we got you covered with the 15 most important signs older men often miss that show a younger woman likes them. Number 1. She is responsive. Not a lot of people put any emphasis on how important a responsive person is. Yes, you might think having friends means you have a good social life, but as you grow older, these things tend to fade. In fact, everyone gets caught up in their own lives. On the other hand, women are also busy people, and not only are they fighting to create a good life with their jobs or college, but social media means they probably have hundreds of guys hitting her up. Women do respond to some of these DMs, and they often seek out the most attractive men. This is why women are always seen to have backup plans if their relationships fail. Since she's already busy with many other people and her standard day job, she's generally not too responsive. This means that when she's responsive to you, it means she's sacrificing some of her free time in order to communicate with you. Men miss these signs, often not knowing just how much effort it takes a woman to be very talkative. This responsiveness can be best found in texting and communication via texting and platforms. Number 2, you become the go-to person. Being the go-to person for a woman can often feel like a double-edged sword. You see, many women love to have a guy on the side, and they'll primarily use him for things like talking or venting some of their frustrations. However, she can choose to never date him, which means that you generally end up in the friend zone. But this is also a great way to see the progression of your relationship. You see, the more you talk to someone, the more they begin to trust you. This extra trust is what creates a bond, and you'll soon become the go-to person. Being the go-to person is not wrong by any stretch of the imagination. and it generally shows that she heavily values your opinion and that you're trusted as well. The only time we would advise you to cut ties is when you're the go-to person, but the moment you want to progress the relationship, she prefers to stop things. This generally means that you have been officially put in the friend zone. However, dabbling around the friend zone is something you'll have to go through and is part of a normal progression. Number 3, she complains about younger guys. Women who do not want to continue dating younger men will voice strong opinions about them. In fact, she might tell you just how immature a young guy is, and this is often backed up by a few experiences she's had. In general, a woman who complains about other guys tends to be a good sign that she's really into you, and you should consider capitalizing on this trend. However, you should also focus on common sense, and when she's simply complaining but continuing to make the same mistakes, she's simply using you as a friend. Number 4, she agrees or sets up dates. The next natural progression of any relationship is when two people actually start dating. You see, people do not agree to dates if they're not willing to at least give someone a chance, and this will also be a good opportunity for you. Whenever a woman agrees to dates, it means that she's chosen you above something or someone else. As mentioned previously, women are hit on all day by various men, which means you've beaten them, and this is why she's chosen you for a date. Number 5, becoming a beacon of advice. Women used to trust men, especially when it comes to advice, but this has slightly dropped in the last decade or so. Now, there are various reasons why women have stopped asking men for advice, but it's predominantly because men often want something in return. In fact, many men misread such situations and instead they try to hit on the woman, who's just asking them for some good advice. Nowadays, women only ask for advice when a man is someone she feels somewhat interested in. So, if you happen to become a beacon of trust and she turns to you for a lot of advice, it does mean there's a good connection between you. Number 6, she reaches out. Relationships often work by having the man reach out and actively work to court the woman. In fact, it's been like this for centuries, where men naturally had to court women for them to get a girlfriend. Women would rarely reach out, often allowing the man to do all the work. But recently, this has begun to change. Once again, social media has allowed women to freely contact almost any man. Since her phone is now blowing up with messages she generally chooses to ignore, she doesn't reach out to anyone. However, when she does start reaching out, it's a very important step and indicates that she likes you. In fact, she's choosing you among others who are texting her to talk to. This elevates you above them, as she's now expending her own energy as a way of trying to encourage you to continue courting her. Number 7, she always looks her best. One of the main differences between men in the friend zone and dating prospects is the level of effort they receive from a woman. You see, when she only sees someone as a friend, she doesn't care in the slightest whether he finds her attractive or not. One of the universal signs of attraction that happens at all ages is when she's putting in a lot of effort when you go on dates. You see, this takes time out of her busy schedule, and the only reason she's doing this is to make an impression. So, you need to check how much effort she puts in when you do get to see her. Number 8, she shows actual interest in your life. By now, you've probably noticed just how impactful social media is and why women don't talk to you. However, a woman who likes you will talk more frequently and be more responsive. But she'll not only be talking all the time like friends do. In fact, when a woman likes you, she's far more likely to show an actual interest in your life. This is not because she cares about you, even though it could be part of the reason, but rather a way for her to extract information and conclude whether you are the ideal partner. When a woman shows a lot of interest, it's a clear-cut sign she's heavily interested or invested. Number 9, she reacts to your older humor. Let's face it, The older we get, the more we want to tell this older kind of intelligent jokes. Now, when you're a bit older than her, she might not always understand the context of your jokes, especially when they're more focused on life experience. Younger women tend to find it boring when older men talk about the serious things of life. But if she likes you, she'll put in a lot of effort. By effort, we mean she's willing to do a lot of research, and it's this research that levels the intellectual playing field. Since human beings hate wasting energy, and she now understands your jokes to laugh along, it's a great way to see if she likes you or not. Number 10. She tries to get your attention. One thing you need to realize is that women have a natural passive-aggressive default. This means that she wants to avoid conflict, and she often tests the water to ensure she'll not be rejected. Yes, women are profoundly affected by even the slightest rejection. This passive-aggressive nature slightly disappears when she likes you, and she'll begin trying to gain your trust and your attention. Attracting your attention can be done via social media, but it's also done through how she dresses and communicates with you. It's a good idea to accept that each time she tries to get your attention, there's a reason, and it could potentially mean that she likes you as well. Number 11. You're invited to meet her friends or family. Perhaps one of the most powerful signs that a woman likes you is when she's willing to bring you into her close circle. You see, men are naturally the people who invite women into their groups of friends. But this is not always something that happens with people having fewer friends. When a woman invites you to meet those around her, she's taken a risk. Not only can you judge her, but her friends can judge her based on her decision. When a woman's willing to take this risk and bring you into her close group, it's a powerful sign of attraction, and it directly means that she's interested. Obviously, you still need to put your best foot forward and make sure you don't give her friends any reason to discourage her from dating you. Number 12. She defends you against others. Depending on the age gap, you might need to deal with many different naysayers, often labeling you and her due to the relationship. In fact, women are often judged to be gold diggers when they date an older guy. This can be frustrating to deal with, but when a woman stands up to these people to defend you and the relationship, it's a great sign that she is in fact interested in you. You see, defending your name and the relationship involves her risking the loss of these people, especially when they play a vital role in her life. Women often don't defend their partners as a way of trying to preserve the peace and maintain some of these relationships. However, when she does start standing up for you, it's a clear sign of attraction. But what would be even better is if she stands up for you when you're not around. Now, it can be hard to know if this happens or not, but when you start making friends with her friends, you'll be able to hear all these tidbits of information. Number 13. Direct flirting. Flirting is a universal sign of attraction, but what is very surprising is the fact that few men pick up on this. Unless you have some good relationship experience, it can be very easy to miss some of the subtle flirting coming from her side of the relationship. It'll generally start via text messaging, and when you can manage to spend some time with her and notice that she's playfully flirting with you, it's one of the ultimate signs that she's also somewhat attracted to you as well. Flirting should be a mutual thing that both of you do, and this will create the right kind of energy and environment for a relationship to sprout forth. Number 14. She does things for you. Many men, regardless of age, often don't realize just how big a sign it is when a woman starts doing things for you. You see, women are so used to men doing things and courting them that they believe they have a free ride to every boyfriend. However, men don't realize that for a woman to be truly invested in a relationship, she needs to expend energy in the relationship and resources. Much like your finances, your heart will generally follow your resource expenditure. This means that if a woman likes you, she's far more likely to put in a lot of effort, and this effort is a way of showing that she actually likes you. When you notice a woman doing things for you, it's a sign that she's coming around, or at least trying to signal her interest. Number 15. She talks about the future. Finally, women tend to choose older men when they're ready to settle down. This means that when she chooses you, she's already invested in the future. What you need to hear from her to confirm this is often when she talks about the future more. When a woman does talk about the future frequently, and you start featuring in some of these plans, it's one of the clearest signs that she's attracted to you as well. The dating world can be very tough to navigate, and when it comes to younger women, there are tons of mistakes men make. In fact, many men don't find themselves worthy of these gorgeous young women. If you're feeling this way, you need to check out our next video on how you can effectively use psychology to turn a woman on.